when you're in that position and you're behind and then you make a move and that other crew is not able to respond, that's a good feeling.
That's true.
All right, coming up on the next final here, the men's open single in the A category. Again, these boats all qualified through the heats this morning. Full 6-boat race here. From left to right, we'll have Brian Bosch of Occoquan, David Joniak from Heroes Movement, Andre Lowetz Benson from Minneapolis,
Crushed it.
Michael Ferry from Riverside, Kevin Kimber from Texas Center, and William Newell from Chinook. So, first single event of this afternoon. Singles always just a real showing of willpower. You're out there racing for yourself, no one else to pull for or to tell you to pull.
It's all in your head.
All in your
Literally.
head. But we're seeing a high stroke rate here from lane 4, Minneapolis, with this early lead coming here through, well, halfway through the race, crossing that 500-meter point. Seeing really great back end acceleration here. Finding a lot of it through the body opening and into the release with the arms. Versus look out over some of these other doubles, they are a little bit more focused on the top quarter of the stroke, finding some more suspension up there. But the good thing about the single is that we can row very individualized rowing styles here.
Look at this drone shot. Beautiful shot of Oak Ridge, Tennessee. Awesome to watch this race unfold, stroke by stroke, all the way down the course. TBT to the days of just sitting at the finish line, being totally unaware of what's happening for the entire race. I don't miss those days.
No, we're so far beyond that. We get to be on the action. Not that we would ever want you to cut away from our coverage here, but there is some great coverage now of the Henley Royal Regatta going on, where they've done a great job of bringing us very in-depth coverage throughout the whole race, and you can really get a great sense of how intense these races are. Those are all dual races in a bracket style, where you're trying to come out on top and progress through a bracket to race on in the championships.
Watch out for bow number 3 here. So Michael Ferry from Riverside making a charge on our otherwise uncontested leader from Minneapolis. Michael versus Andre just really pushing one another here as we come into the last 5 strokes. I don't know if he has enough room to catch him.
The great thing about the single is you can totally see that kind of change in gears, that shift in intensity that allowed that Riverside single, Michael Ferry, to make that final charge.
And it will be Kevin Kimber in lane 2 with that last medal position coming in 3rd. Really great fight from all athletes across that line, really tight together.
Ooh, we can see one of the first 8s of the day making their way up to the start. Excited to see the biggest of the big boats make their way down the course later. We all love a good 8. We love being up at the start for 8s.
So our next event is going to be, we have our last finisher coming across here. Or perhaps this is the next event. Hard to see.
I think this is the next event. This is the lane 3 Coleman McGrath in this men's AA single final. 3 entries here. So
I don't think they had a heat this morning.
I don't think they had a heat.
I don't recognize
either.
these names. So final only. Out here trying to manage fueling in the hours preceding your race. Obviously, a lot of racing happens in the early morning, and so when you come to a regatta like this, like the Masters Nationals, like the USRowing Nationals that happen in July, you had racing at all hours of the day, and so any race day routines where you start with your breakfast and then before you get too hungry you just go. When you have midday racing or afternoon racing, you have to really manage your fueling leading up to the race.
Absolutely, it's always a challenge, and one of those things that you can't always practice fully. Like, we can practice fueling before one practice, but if you have multiple races in the day, you're not going to have too many days where you could practice fueling then racing, you know? So it's a lot of taking those strategies and applying it in the moment. But quite a bit of separation coming out here in this 3-boat final. We do see lane 3 from San Diego, Coleman McGrath, here maintaining his lead, keeping the rate really low. We can really appreciate how long the stroke is, and also the relaxation here on his recovery.
Yeah, we talk about positive force and negative force working with the speed of the boat. Obviously, you want to limit that negative force that sends the momentum backwards in the opposite direction of how you want the boat to move. And he's really smooth on that recovery, limiting that slow down and just really milking the stroke for all it's worth.
Coming through the line here, taking first. And one more single, lane 4. Nate Calabrese of Cincinnati will take that second place spot. And our third place single, Jackson Bauer of Lincoln Park, coming through in the final 100 meters here to finish out his race.
So I believe Jasper Bauer is one of the lovely Masters rowers who actually gave us a bio on Regatta Central when they registered. So quick tidbit about Jasper, that third place finisher. He actually began rowing in 2011. Happy 10-year anniversary for rowing. He began rowing in Westfield for Westfield Crew in New Jersey, rowed for 4 years with DePaul University on their crew team, and just graduated in June.
Wow. So coming right into Masters rowing straight out of college, always love to see that. The continuation of sport past those collegiate years. As we said earlier today, everyone at this race is going to have a very different path to racing here today. And we love to see that those varied stories of people who have been rowing since they were maybe in high school or middle school, all the way to people who have just picked up this sport in the last few years as an adult.
Next race coming down is the women's AA single final. It's an open event, so club affiliations, you don't have to actually train at the club you're affiliated with necessarily, which is...
But these are also singles, so...
They're also singles.
So they can come from wherever. We're crews of one.
Anywho, we have from lane 6, Atomics, Sarah Kate Rogers. From Greater Columbus in lane 5, Christy Bushman in lane 4. From Lookout, Allison Kohlberg. From Greater Columbus in lane 3, we have Rachel Bushman. Sisters, question mark? I move on. And then OKC River Sports, Caroline DeLong in lane 2, and Marlise Raincourt from Austin in lane 1. So lane 1 is over there on the right. Lane 6 is on the left of our screen here.
And it looks like our leader so far is Allison Kohlberg from Lookout, but the rest
did dominate that heat.
She did. I do remember that performance from this morning. The rest of the heat, the rest of the final, looking very close here. A lot can happen in the remaining part of the race, and it's going to come down to the sprint to show who's going to come out on top.
Good. As these crews enter into the last 250 meters, they'll undoubtedly be starting their sprint, especially when we have so much overlap here on the field, especially in those first 5 positions. We have our leader, Allison Kohlberg, but with contact in the lane right next to her at the bottom of our screen, we have, let's see, that's Christy Bushman from Greater Columbus. And then closely followed by our lanes 1 and 2, Marlise and Caroline from Austin and OKC. Here we go. I'm on the edge of my seat. We have the orange boat trying to hold on to her lead.
No idea how this one is going to shape up here in the end. Can Allison Kohlberg hang on to that lead here in the last couple strokes?
Oof, watch out for lane 1 with this tick up. She's up at least 5 beats from her base rate.
That rate is looking high.
I think she's going to take it with that sprint. Marlise from Austin, what a finish, and it'll be a photo finish for the second and third positions. Really amazing battle, honestly, from all 6 crews. I have goosebumps.
Really
I get them often, but every time is special.
Doesn't diminish their validity there. Just really passionate about all of it. But really exciting to see such a tight finish from 1st through 6th. And again, like, these are crews from all over the country, single scullers from all over the country, coming here and, you know, racing at very similar speeds. So showing that they're really, you know, pushing towards the top end of that speed all the way across the board here. So really nice job to all the women who raced in that single just now. So Marlies Rancourt from Austin in 1st, 2.5 back to Allison Kohlberg, and then Christy Bushman from Greater Columbus.